Alrighty. What's up, everybody? How's it going? We're going to be live streaming here for maybe about an hour before we go on the Tiki Ducks. So, yeah, hope you guys chill around and hang out. Pull up some of the Book of Faces stuff that's going on. Let's go over here. What's happening, Jake? How are you, sir? All right. You're good. Yeah, so where I live, yeah, there's some tornadoes that kind of happen around me, but they're usually far enough from me where they don't cause any problems, but there's always that possibility. The last time we had a recorded tornado close to here was like in the 70s, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 80s. I could be wrong. It's been quite some time. So, um, but yeah, so I live in a very good place. Now, my sister, who lives about an hour west of me, not so much. She had three tornadoes out by her, and apparently there have already been confirmed up to 11 tornadoes total within the I don't know greater county areas within a 30-minute area. So EF1 hit about 15-20 minutes from here. Yep. Same here. Most of them hit about 20-30 minutes from where I am. So most of the tornadoes, like altogether, they were in like the Elburn area. So probably a good hour and 15 minutes from here. But they were expecting we were in a tornado watch for a couple hours there. And then once it finally hit us, it was basically like light hail. Little bit of rain, like off and on, and that was about it. Maybe a little bit of heavy winds, but nothing really to write home about. I mean, the sirens didn't even go off. We definitely had the sirens go off. See, I've lived here for about 5 years, 6 years now. And I think we've had the tornado sirens go off twice since I've been here. So it's pretty rare, but it can happen. So, right? What's up with this weather? Welcome to global warming, I guess. I don't know. Could just be, axes, changing rotation. I don't know. I'm not professional in any way, shape, or form. I can assume all I want. So that's crazy. You must live in the middle of Tornado Alley. Yes and no. So I live near them, but we don't get them. The closest one, which was close to me at the time because I was working down in Bolingbrook, was in Naperville. And that one was pretty bad. Probably 2 or 3 years ago now. And I was at work at night, and yeah, it was getting pretty dicey outside looking. But I mean, that's an hour from my house. So, yeah, usually in order for me to go and see some, I'd probably have to drive a good hour, maybe 40 minutes at the minimum. To go and even possibly be in any real danger, I'd say. But again, there is always that possibility where some weird thing might happen and one shows up here. It's happened several times before. It can happen again. So, but yeah, we're all good. We just got light hail. That's it. So, it ended up going into Lake Michigan and turned into a water spout. Somebody was telling me about that today. Did I ever tell you last year when we went to Rocky Mountain, Tim and I drove through a tornado through Iowa at like 10 p.m.? No, you did not tell me that. Talking about that, I swear Me and my wife, girlfriend at the time, um, were driving down to Kentucky, and we went to go pick up a car part for my other car. And so I had the great idea of driving. It's a stick shift car. It was a brand new car. It's a 2004 Acura RSX. Stick shift. My wife didn't know how to drive stick shift. I thought I could be all big and bad and do a full drive, wake up at 6 in the morning after going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, as I normally do. This long, long time ago, 2005 ish, and go and pick up a bumper. And at the time, cigarette prices were raising, and I knew so many people that smoked at that time. So I went and I bought cigarettes from like this gas station, that gas station, whatnot. So we basically went hopping, and we had to drive back through the mountains. And I swear to God, we drove right through a tornado because it was the worst possible driving condition I had ever been in. I had my my windshield wipers on full blast, and all I saw was tail lights. That's it. I did not make out what was in front of me. I just knew something was in front of me. That's it. It was so bad, so windy. It was so windy, it was like seeping through the cracks of the door. It was so windy. So no. This was way, way before 2005, maybe 2006. Way long time ago. Before the kids, before marriage, like long time ago. Yeah, because I still had my other car, so it had to have been because I bought my car brand new. It was a 2004. It was a summer model, and we either went into no, it had to have been 2005. It had to have been. Yeah. So 2005 for sure. Yeah, just crazy. Um, but I never really like looked it up or anything, but I'm almost positive that we were. But that was like the craziest weather that I had ever driven in. Over all the snow storms that I've been in and the weather out here, like yeah, that was crazy. When I lived in West Virginia, we had a tornado that ended up bouncing in between the mountains, and our power was out for like 2 weeks because getting help in the boonies is like mission impossible. Yep. And that's one of the things where like everybody's like, yeah, why don't you move west? Housing is so much cheaper. Everything's so much cheaper out there. Well, yeah, it is cheaper out there, but the thing is there's nothing out there for me. So that's my biggest like trade off. And that's one of the things where I've turned down several job offers, good job offers, to go and like manage warehouses in other states. And the thing is like I just couldn't leave the Chicagoland area. There's too much there to let go, and that's one of the hardest things. I don't want to be one of those like, yeah, Chicago is everything, but really Chicago is everything to me. Like I'm a very big food person, and that right there, that's 100% stamp. Like nobody can match that. There's some places here and there that have a few things, but it's like this has an all-in-one package. Like I can literally walk outside, go 2 blocks down, and I have what is it? It's Slovakian food or Bosnian, something like that. Some European one. I have Italian. I have Korean. I have Japanese. I have Chinese. I have any American food that you can think of. There's Portillo's, bone of beef, um, fried chicken. Literally anything that you can want. Tacos, even like everything is within walking distance, and that right there is just really hard to leave because I'm in a very good area where I'm half an hour from downtown on a good day, and I'm half hour from the west suburbs, which is still a good place to go to. So it's like I'm a good in between of where I'm at. So it's really hard for me to leave, even though the housing market is insanely expensive out here. I mean, I have a townhouse, and everything's good. I don't have to worry about it. But it'd be nice to have an actual house, but having a house, man, ridiculous out here. Taxes are even more crazy. So anyway, we had a couple come close when I was in Michigan, and I'm looking to move east to Ohio. Boo, Ohio, the redheaded stepchild of the Midwest. Actually, nobody really even calls Ohio the Midwest, at least from what I'm aware of, and nobody calls it the East. So it's like the redheaded stepchild. Housing is definitely cheaper, but no cell service, and having the power out in the middle of the summer is terrible. Exactly. So, like, I'm sorry, you live in Ohio. I'm sorry. Ohio's not. There's nothing to really call me to Ohio. There never has been. I've been to Cleveland. That was an okay place. I've been to Cincinnati. Nothing spectacular. I haven't really seen anything in the state of Ohio that was just like calls me in any way, shape, or form. Like, so me and the wife, we try and plan road trips to go on vacation to just random places, places we've never been. And so that I don't think will ever be on our scope to say, yeah, let's go there. Should try Toledo. You know what? I haven't really tried Toledo, Ohio. I think I may have passed through there, but maybe Detroit. Oh boy. Housing is cheap for sure compared to Colorado. We are going to land. If we sell our small house here, we can get a big one there. Yes, exactly. So that's like one of the big things is, I tell people like how much my townhouse is, and they're like, oh my God, you can get like a mansion for that. Like, for example, okay, everybody tells me go out west. Well, my sister has a mansion. I mean, a mansion. Like there's it's either 5 or 6 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, a 4-car garage, a fully finished basement that's just as big as the house. I think it's 2,500 square feet for the basement alone, and that has some potential to have extra rooms if you build some walls in it. But it's finished as it is, like it's just a bare bones basement. And she's got probably 5 acres of land, and it was like 250 grand. I was like, I could sell my townhouse and still have money left over and go over there. But the problem is you live in the middle of nowhere and you live close to Rockford, Illinois, which I'm good. So, but yeah, one of the things that I just don't like is being out in the middle of nowhere. So, my townhouse price, you can look them up. I actually, we bought ours for insanely cheap. And since we've had it, it's been 6 or 7 years? 6 years, I think. We've been in here. Because my daughter's 5. We bought it before we had her. Before we even had her. So it's either 6 or 7 years. And my townhouse is easily 300 grand. And with the townhouses that we're selling, that like, because I live in the rows of townhouses, right? Krista knows this. The one that was right across the way from us, they sold it as is pretty much, and it was old, like beat up, and that one was like 300,000, whereas ours is slightly updated. The kitchen is about the only thing that we didn't touch when we came in here. That's the only like real original thing, but it's got all new HVAC, all new AC. The basement is completely finished. I finished that myself. Well, I mean, minus the floor, but the basement's pretty much finished. But yeah, everything else, like the floors are redone. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think if we had it appraised, it'd probably be 350, if not more, easily. So, Oh yeah, 450. That'll get you a good position no matter where you're at. Like that'll get you a good house. Even by me, that'll get you maybe not a good house, but it'll get you an okay house, even in the Chicagoland area. So you're in the middle of nowhere now. I want to move, but like I have 2,200 square foot, 1 acre in Toledo, and I pay 80K. Jesus. See, and that's the other thing is like that's the great thing about where I live because we have the mall that takes care of most of the taxes here. So our taxes are considerably lower than any other town in the area. And our town is upscale. Like when I say upscale is if I walked 2 blocks over, there's houses that are $1.5 million to start. There's a couple of them for sale. You can look them up online that are $1.5 million or more. And they're building another house right now that I guarantee is going to be easily a $2 million house. So whoever bought the house that was there. It's a flat house ranch, but it was a brick ranch. So I think the house sold for like 350,000. They knocked the whole thing down, and yeah, I'm gonna put it. They're building a huge house right now. It's already up. They have probably maybe 50% of it done already, and it's only been 4 months. So, but yeah, crazy stuff. I live in a very ritzy neighborhood. I'm almost positive that's how much Tim house was. Yeah, I think Tim paid somewhere around the price that my townhouse is worth now. So, but again, you guys live kind of far from a lot of things. Like you're not too far from the city, but there's nothing else the other way, in my opinion. So, like for me, like I said, it's an all-in-one package where I live. It's really hard to leave this area. So if I do get a house, it'll be a house in this town. So or around surrounding towns where I grew up. And that's the other thing is I grew up in this area. So I know everything there is to know about this area. So I grew up 2 towns south of here, southwest. Right now we have a 1,500 square foot ranch and we have 4 acres. I paid $278 for it 7 years ago, and I have a killer interest rate. Nice. Interest rate. What is that? I don't know what that is. That's non-existent for me. What's up, Spring? How's it going? Yeah, long time no see. What's up, Carl? How's it going, bud? I just saw in Brooklyn that a parking spot rental costs more than my house payment. Absolutely. So I couldn't even imagine how much it is in Brooklyn, but in Chicago, there's not the Spire, but it's like a Spire garage. And my buddy has a townhouse that's down there. And this was probably 10 years ago now, easily, maybe 15 years ago now. And he was down there because he went to UIC. Yeah, UIC, which is downtown there. Going for his doctorate because, the parents had money. And so they put him in the doctorate school. And his parking space alone was $30,000 to rent a year. And I was just like, what? Now, this was before I even thought about buying a house. I don't even know if I had I don't even think I had an apartment at that time. Maybe I did. If I did, I had my first apartment. But when he said that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I can only imagine what it is now. Like I said, that's easily 15 years ago. So, but yeah. His parents had money. They had a business and they had sold it for like a couple $1 million. They retired, moved back to Poland, and they left him the house. So now he's got probably a $1.2 million house in Addison or Bloomingdale, somewhere, wherever that is. They're basically right next to each other. But yeah, crazy stuff. I know a lot of people that have a lot of money. Yeah. But yeah, I'm fortunate to not have to worry about anything. Everything is done for. So I that's one big expense I don't have to worry about. So it's kind of nice. You rent in Shenzhen? Now the question is, Spring, do you live full time in Shenzhen, or is your family somewhere else in China? Because it seems to be that that's how everybody is in Shenzhen. Like everybody rents there, but they actually live somewhere else, or at least their family does. Now, with me saying that, I yeah, I don't have to worry about this, but there's obviously other life amenities that I have to worry about that, I at least make enough to take care of everything. So, um, but that's it. I make enough to take care of things. My wife, she doesn't. She works a little bit, so hers helps out a little here and there. Okay, that's what I thought. Your hometown is in Hunan. Okay, that's what I kind of figured. All right, man, we got failure city here. All right, let's get this set up here. Take this down. So yeah, we're probably only going to be live streaming for about another half hour or so, and then we're going to hop on over to the TikTok at around it's 11:24 my time. So at about midnight, we're going to hop over on TikTok as we normally do. So I stay in Shenzhen for work and only go back hometown once or twice a year. Yep, that's pretty much everybody I've talked to so far. Seems to be. My VA income takes care of bills and allows me to chase the 3D printing dream. That's awesome. I wish I can do stuff like that. So unfortunately, I have to work a regular 9 to 5, and this past week has been really trying on me. It's been good or okay, I should say, up until this last week, and I have just been in a real sour mood this week, and it's just people. Housing is stupid expensive in the UK. Yeah, and I hear, and you guys are in a recession too, aren't you? They just called that like a week or two ago, right? If I'm not mistaken, or was somebody pulling my leg? What's up, Joel? How's it going? How are you, my friend? That's right. I was going to put on some music, but I know I would get canceled here. It's the one downfall of streaming on the multiple platforms is I can't have music jamming in the background. Actually, I could. I can set up my buddy's songs because they're not monetized in any way, and I have the full rights to play it. So the UK has always been expensive compared to the US. Absolutely, even more so after the whole Brexit thing because it's just disaster with all the what you call it, the export and import stuff. So, but yeah, we are in a recession for the second time, but I don't worry about it. Well, that's good. That's good. At least it's not in the worrying state, and I would think that somebody would say something about it if it was. I would at least hear it. I don't watch the news or anything because it's crap I don't need to hear, and I mostly don't care about. But I'm sure somebody would have mentioned it, or I would have seen it on TikTok or Facebook or something. Going well, and I relate 100% to your feeling with work people lately, right? I don't know if something's in the air or what the hell is going on, but people have just been at a level of stupidity that just all I have to say is WTF throughout the day. And the fact is, if I if I'm having to help out the IT department, of which there is, I don't know, 5 people on one ticket trying to resolve an issue, and I'm the one that fixes it, there's an issue there. Okay. I know a little bit about IT stuff, technical computer stuff, but not enough to say, yeah, I really know what the hell I'm doing. I know a little bit. Google's your friend. I can definitely do more than them, but it's just the fact that if I can figure that out after you guys spending 3 weeks to try and figure this out, and I literally figure it out the day that you add me to the chain, something has to change on that. I'm sorry. So, hey, what's up, Harry? Amen to that. News just makes me feel worse. I agree, 100%. I stopped watching the news a long time ago. I used to watch the morning news, WGN, and that was fun because they used to just have a blast in the morning. So I used to watch that when I was growing up, but I probably haven't really even watched the news in, man, since probably 2008. Easily before I was married, for sure. Something going on. I only work 3 days a week, but for the past few weeks, it has been the worst 3 days ever. Right? I don't know. Something's up. Something's in the air where people are just at a high level of dumb. I'm my own boss, so I only get annoyed with myself. Well, that's understandable. I've definitely been there. Case in point, I'm trying to design a drip mount for the M3 Max. And I literally had a dumb moment designing this. I'm like, I'm over designing this piece and I know it, but I'm not thinking that I can go a different route. And I was like, wait a minute, I can go this way instead of that way. And it would make way more sense to go this way. So I literally scrapped the entire project and started over from ground zero. And now I'm kind of a little bit stumped on getting some measurements right because I know Tinkercad, but I don't know enough to understand like what I need to do. So it's good enough to where if I print it, it should work okay and I don't have an issue. But I just, the perfectionist in me is what's getting in the way. And I know if I start tinkering with it, I'm going to mess it all up and it's just going to be a disaster and I'm going to forget to save the one that I'm working with. And yeah, then there's going to be no way going back and I'm just going to be real mad at myself. So I'm just going to let it be for the time being and design it all, get it working, and then go back and try and redo it. Just like I did with this. This is the Miracle wall mount. Oh, Joel, if you're still in here, this is the Miracle wall mount. So this is the front-facing wall mount. I originally did the rear-facing wall mount. So with this mount, the scanner, the camera is actually facing the wall, whereas the design that I originally did, the cameras are facing towards you. So not the end of the world, but some people just want that extra protection against the wall. Either way, that's fine. So I redesigned it. That's all I did. Super simple, straightforward. By the way, I hope the audio is okay on this. Should be okay. I didn't mess with any of my settings this time, so it should be okay. Is everybody still here? Like went dead quiet. What? Either of that. I've got to take the ring off of the finger so I can start doing some work here. Get some gloves on. No glove, no love. And get working on some stuff. I got some failures I got to take care of. I got some printers I got to set up and get going here. Get everything situated. But yeah, like I said, it's 11:32 my time, so we got about 28 minutes left on this stream. So we're just going to do a quick, hour stream or so. And then we're going to jump over on TikTok and chill with some of the peeps over there. So if you guys want to join after the stream, that's where we will be. By the way, if you guys need some really, really good gloves, check out the Venom ones, or if you don't want to spend a lot of money, this brand. These are really, really nice gloves, and they're the same ones as Venom. They're made by the same company out here in Northfield. And yeah, they just rebrand them. These are the cheap brand, not the Venom. And I found those just on a whim one day. I was like, wait a minute, that's the same packaging. It's literally the same packaging as Venom. They just have different brand name on it. Harbor Freight has some good ones. So that's very hard to say for me, because since I've used Venom, I have really not wanted to use any other gloves. These ones specifically are reinforced, so these ones are even better. These are the Venom Steel. So I have a couple pairs of these left, but these Venom ones are hands down the best gloves that I've ever used. They don't rip, they don't tear. Now, when I say that, you got to understand, I work with resin prints. So sometimes resin prints can be literally razor sharp. I've had them where they've stabbed me and caused bleeding and whatnot. So to have gloves that don't rip or tear, no matter what I'm handling, that is a plus in my book. Even though they might be a little bit more expensive than most gloves, totally worth it for that alone, because I don't have to worry about washing my hands every single time and changing out several different pairs of gloves. I can actually use these and abuse these for quite a while. So anyway, let's get this stuff up and right. Rock and rolling. Rocking and rolling. This one failed because, well, I was trying to get away with less supports, and yeah, that didn't really work. So that was totally my fault, and yeah, I had a feeling it wasn't going to work, but hey, you know what? Just decided to wing it and went for it, and sure enough, we failed epically. Now, one of the cool things that I love that I have in my collection for resin printing is this little like espresso press. That's literally what it is. Like, you can buy one. I bought one off Amazon that's a dual size, so one's a larger, one's a smaller. Really, you just need the larger one. That's perfectly fine. But you put it in the vat and you do a vat clean, and it becomes your bill plate. So you just pull it right off. You don't have to do anything with it. So, oh man, I don't even want to think about that. I've never had a resin support go underneath my fingernail, but I would probably hit the roof if that happened. I've definitely had PLA underneath my my nail before, and that is not a fun thing. Probably even more as like wood. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I only wear gloves for finishing FDM stuff, not worried about if they rip. Yeah, understandably. So for you, the Harbor Freight work perfectly fine. I mean, really any glove would work fine. But yeah, these things, Carl, definitely look into an espresso press. I think it's like $10, but $10. I mean, like I said, you literally just put it in there, and it'll do everything for you. So we'll change up the Z. Why is it not zeroing the Z out there? Oh, I know. Because I canceled the print. Only did it once. Oh, I bet. I would be very careful after that. I would be like, I don't know. I don't want to do it. I can try and grab this out, but I don't think it's going to work. So I basically, with this print, I designed a tesseract, and sort of worked. But yeah, I didn't put strong enough supports on it, so that was totally my fault. Like I said, I was trying to be dicey with it, and I failed epically. This one, I don't have to do a vat clean function. I can probably just pry this off of the vat. It'll be okay. Well, Matt, how do you know that it was a failure from supports? Well, because the Z offset is good, the support's printed, and the exposure we dialed in before printing. So, yeah, all the major points are pointing to the weight of the print and the supports used. So, in this case, more or less the weight, the amount of supports not being used. And there we go. There we have it. Right off the build plate. Right off the bat, I should say. But we do have another cool clear print. I've been printing with a lot of clear lately, which I mean is fine, but it's unusual for me. I don't usually do that. Yeah, once is enough, I bet. Opinion on the Creality Ender 3 V3 SE printer. I personally don't have one, but from what I've heard from several people is that it's probably the best Ender out there. But again, it's still an Ender. It's going to pose its problems. So just be aware of that. You get what you pay for. So knowing that, just be very careful. In my opinion, if you have a little bit more money, try and go with an Anycubic printer. I think those are a little bit slightly better of a printer. And if you have a little bit more money, maybe go with something else besides a Creality. Creality has definitely gotten better, but there's still some issues there. However, the one upside that Creality will always have is the parts that are available for Creality printers are everywhere. Whereas parts for any other printer, it's usually very hard to find. So it's good, but wait for the A1 fix. Yes. Neptune beats both. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Elegoo. I personally am not a big fan of Elegoo, but their printers are pretty good. So, yeah, I would definitely look into the Anycubics. Me personally, I like the Anycubic Viper, but I know that's a little bit older of a printer. They do have their Cobra line, which is still pretty good. Or the Elegoo Neptune, which is essentially the same printer. To be in all honesty, all the printers nowadays are pretty much manufactured from the same place. And they're basically all looking like each other. You can easily tell that they're just all kind of rebranded from one manufacturer. Who that is, I have no idea. It might be Creality that manufactures them all for everybody else. Who knows? I don't know that. But you can easily tell that everybody has very, very similar builds. So much so that it's like they're pretty much identical in a lot of ways. So I still have a Chiron in my attic because either have zero room for it with all my other printers. Yep. That's one of the reasons why I gave Tim from TH3D my Comgrow T500 that I've had for the last 4 or 5 months. Is because I didn't have any room for it. That is a huge machine. First off, it's a 500 squared build volume, and the machine itself is probably 800 millimeters. So, what's up, Dusty? Yeah, it's a big boy, and it's scary too because it runs on Clipper, and having a build plate that big running that fast is very, very scary. So, what's up, Matt? How's it going, man? Rocking and rolling. We're just doing a quick live stream here. Like I said, we're probably going to be doing about an hour live stream. We're about 40 minutes into it already. And then we're going to hop on over to the Tiki Talk. So, chillin', haven't seen you in forever. Wanted to say hi. Well, hi. Yeah, I'll be on TikTok in 17, 18 minutes. So you're scared of the speed of the Cobra 2 Max? Yeah, that's exactly how I felt with the T500. So Just imagine that machine being 500 squared volume. That is a chunky printer. And the T500 is a beast. The bottom alone is probably like 60 pounds. Not even joking. I was having a hard time getting it out of the box. So, but yeah, I can only imagine those big machines are scary when they start moving, because it's like I'm used to big machines going slow, and that's fine because they're just meant to print big things. I don't really care about speed, but the new ones are fast, and it's just like you are going to kill somebody with it. Like, it's bad. Like, very, very dangerous looking printers. So. Rocking, rolling. Here. We have this failure, which I didn't think was going to fail, but it did. Again, support issue. Redo. That's no biggie. I love this little miniature resin heater that's in here because it just maintains the temperature. It doesn't just heat, it maintains it. So if it's too hot for it, it'll cool it down. You're used to your Cobra Plus going slow, right? All right, Ryan, you have a good one. Yeah, we got about 15 minutes left on this stream, so just FYI. We'll be heading over to the Tiki Talk. If you guys aren't following on Tiki Talk, go ahead and do it. If you guys aren't part of Tiki Talk, I do suggest going down that rabbit hole, or not, because it is a rabbit hole. I need to get a better shelf for my printer to sit on. I'm thinking about removing the red rack and getting a floating shelf. You can try that, but you just got to anchor it very well. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. So yeah, here's this piece. I use this one because that one doesn't really have a good flat surface. So I'm just going to put it in the corner here, a little bit out, because this screen is a little bit different. And then we're going to do a vat cleaning. We're going to set this to 30 seconds. And then it's just going to pull up in one piece. So while it's doing the vat clean, we're going to loosen up our bolts. And when we loosen up our bolts, that'll allow us to take the print off a little bit easier. I'm going to pull up our garbage can right below it. Now, you don't have to do 30 seconds. I usually do 30 seconds just for good measurement. You can do the stock 15 seconds. But what's cool about this is you take this, you pull it up, and this is going to pull up like butter. Oh, I really wish I had like a microphone that was close. Get some ASMR stuff going on. And then we're just going to let it drip for a little bit. Drip off as much excess because we want to try and keep as much resin as we can, even though I don't really have to. It's just always good practice. But I don't know if you guys can see it. It might be a little bit too dark. There's basically a sheet, a paper sheet, essentially, of black resin. Rocking. All right. And then it just pulls right off the build plate. Boom, done. All done. That's it. And just make sure that you put your vat back down, unlike I did with the M3 Max. That is it. We got a little bit that we spilled over a little bit. That's it. Okay. Now we're all good. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Printer's good to go. That's good. That's good. Gonna get that off. All right. So we are all good with taking off failures. And we can re-support these prints, get them started, and we'll get stuff going. All right. Yes, I do attend some of the RepRap shows. I do highly suggest, if you are in the Colorado area, to check out the Rocky Mountain RepRap Fest, which is on April 20th and 21st. I will be there along with about 25 other TikTokers that are TikTok friends. And I think, that would be a really cool one to go to. I will be attending the Midwest RepRap Fest because for me, that's just a short drive. So I definitely will be there. The one that I'm probably going to miss, and I only went to it once, and that was last year, was the East Coast RepRap Fest. And really, I went there with one intention, and that was to meet a fellow friend of mine, Uncle Jesse, in person. And me and him met, had a fantastic time, and it was great. But for me, the East Coast RepRap Fest is probably lowest on my list. I mean, Murph. The Midwest RepRap Fest is right about there, but the Midwest RepRap Fest kind of has a one-up because it's within driving distance of me, so I don't have to worry about doing anything. I could drive to and from and not have to worry about spending extra money on a hotel or anything. So, is there any value in attending them other than seeing random made stuff? Knowledge, meeting fellow content creators, meeting some of the creators that got you into 3D printing, because everybody's usually watched somebody at some point. Joel Telling, Stefan from CNC Kitchen, Shep, Chris's Basements, Joseph Prusa. I mean, the sky's the limit. You name it. There's probably somebody at one of those shows that you have watched, and you'd be like, oh my God, I get to meet sort of a celebrity to some people. But it's always fun to go in there and mingle and see what's possibly new on the market, because there are some companies that release new products at those shows. But it's always cool to see what fellow makers like you and I, have to bring to the table and cool ideas that maybe a company is not working on. So I think it's always good to go there to either A, get some ideas, B, just chat with somebody about your ideas. I think it's a really, really good thing to go there and just mingle. I am not a people-y person, but in that environment, my autism is just at its highest level because I have so much information to spew out of my mouth that people are there to actually listen. So it's kind of cool to see that, there are some other people that have ADHD and autism and whatever, thing they have, and they crave that knowledge. And when they meet somebody, I don't want to say like I'm super knowledgeable, but I really am, because I do a lot of deep diving. So I gather a bunch of random crap off the internet, and it's just like, it's like one of those visions where you see like the numbers swirling around in your head. That's how it is when I talk to people. But yeah, it's always fun, in my opinion. Now for me, I might have a different perspective on it because I am a content creator. So I have my fellow content creators there alongside. So I kind of do have that little bit of a cushion where if I need to go and hide in somewhere, I know somebody who will allow me to just be away from the people, which happened quite a lot at ERF. ERF, for some reason, I was just not with it at ERF. I was definitely not who I normally am at the RepRap Fest. I didn't do really any live streaming like I normally do. I didn't do any really talking to anybody. So it was just, I don't know, maybe that's one of the things that just didn't really like grasp me. And it could just be because the show was just a little bit underwhelming to me. But there was one cool thing that I saw there, and I ended up getting one because, well, I asked them if I can be part of it, and that was the Miraco scanner. That was probably the only thing there that I was just like, I was blown away about. Rebel Point introduced their brand new Miraco scanner, and that thing, I was just like, this is the coolest scanner I've ever seen. And I know nothing about 3D scanning, and Rebel Point had really just kind of reeled me back in about 2 or 3 months before that when they scanned me, and I ended up printing a little version of myself. Aha! And so I did that, and it was great. And so that was at least one thing that was fun there. And mingling with Joel and having Sam Prentice there, and Joseph, and all kinds of people. And I was actually the kind folks at Filament Stories allowed me to attend that event and be at their booth. So that was kind of nice to have a safe space, so to speak. So that was kind of nice. But I took that too much, because it was like I felt like I had a safe space, but I also felt like I kind of didn't. And the reason I think why is because while I was there, in that booth, you had Filament Stories, you had JC from Asylum Life, you had Fotis Mint and Clock Spring and Zuck Charo. Like, these are huge people. And then the booth right next to it, we had Ellen Mandic Reilly. I mean, so it was just like I was surrounded by people who just made me look like I was about that big. And I don't really want to make that as like a mean statement. That's just how I feel. Like, I'm a creator, but compared to them, I'm microscopic to most of those people. So that's just how I felt at that. And I think that's one of the things where I just was like, I was a little bit overwhelmed with that. So being with that many talented people in one booth was really, really hard to be okay with. And there was Sith Lord Brit there too, who is an amazing Twitch streamer. So yeah, so it was just kind of like an all-in-one, like, yeah, I know these people, I can chat with them, I can be okay with them. I've been okay with them at several events, but I think it was just too much power there, that it was just like, it was trumping me really, really badly, and I couldn't really get out of it. So again, I don't mean it in any bad way, but it's how I felt. So I'll be at the Colorado one, but it would be nice to see an education seminar to engage learning on new ideas. So Josh, with that, I had been asked to speak on a panel alongside Joel and I believe Ellie from Coco Press. So you will see me up there. Most likely I will be talking about resin printing, if that still is on the table. Again, I don't ever put anything in 100% because it was asked to me, but I don't ever take that to heart, because just in case something happens, I don't get my hopes up, and I take it very badly, because me and RSD, rejection sensitive disorder, that goes real negative, and I don't want that to happen, because the Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest, I see that as probably the most successful and the best Rep Rat Fest that I've ever been to, even though I originally attended Murph in 2019, and that was the highlight of the Rep Rat Fest. Rocky Mountain is kind of a special place in my heart, because I got to meet all my fellow TikTok people. Even though we do live streams all the time, I got to meet them in person and see how they actually are, and kind of gauge them, because it's kind of like you trying to buy clothes off the internet, or buy an item off the internet that you really, really want. You can buy that item, it's okay, but it just seeing it in person and touching it and feeling it and seeing it, are completely different things than looking at it through a photo. A lot of people have that type of stuff. I don't know if you guys do or not, but that's something that it's not a huge thing for me, but not at least for buying stuff. I can easily click and buy stuff. I don't have a filter for that, but yeah, meeting somebody in person to meeting somebody online, two totally different things. But I can still vibe off of people and see who they kind of truly are behind the mask, and know that. And that just kind of gives me a little bit of confirmation meeting them in person. So again, you are still the taco eating resin printing god. I am. I didn't have tacos today though. We had burgers and wings from a new place called Hangry, and it was actually really good. I was very, very surprised. I personally love the Hooters chicken wings, the breading on it. I absolutely love that, especially if they're done right. They're nice and crispy. They are the best wings that I possibly can have so far. There used to be a better place, but that's been gone for years, so I can't really compare it. But I personally like Hooters for my go-to place, even more so because they have buffalo shrimp. If you guys haven't tried it, go ahead and try it. It's game changer. Hot buffalo shrimp from Hooters. Amazing. Hands down. Sounds weird, but it's the best. Anyway, so yeah, we had those, and the wings were they were really good. I put them right up there with the Hooters wings because I like breaded wings. I don't like naked wings. So the more you know about me. So anyway, it is 11:59 by the time I'm ending this sentence. It'll probably be 12 o'clock. So if you guys would like to join me on the TikToks, you guys can go ahead and do that. I'm going to head over there right now. If you guys aren't on TikTok, I do highly suggest, like I said, going down that rabbit hole. And if not, hey, it is what it is. So with that being said, I hope to see you guys at the Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Fest on 4/20 and 4/21. I will be there. I will probably be very busy. Please, if you'd like to, go ahead and say hi to me, because me trying to engage with somebody else is pretty rare. But again, I'll probably be more busy than I have the ability to, go and say hi to people. So just be aware of that. So yeah, anyway, I thank you guys all for joining the stream. And until next time, guys, happy print.